Hi, class. Today we are going to be looking at Chapter 1, Lesson 3 of our social studies, and it is How Did the First People Get to California? And over here, the picture, we have that caption reads, Small bands of people moved from place to place following the prehistoric mammals they hunted. Let's take a look at the text now. Early travel routes. During the Ice Age, glaciers covered much of what we now call North America. The temperature was between 9 to 18 degrees Fahrenheit or 5 to 10 degrees Celsius colder than it is now. Hunters followed their prey from Asia to the land known as Beringia. Beringia was a land bridge located between Siberia and Alaska. In Beringia, plants and animals thrived. For as long as 20,000 years, people inhabited the area. By 12,000 years ago, the warming climate caused the glaciers to melt and retreat from North America. The land bridge from Siberia to Alaska was submerged under ocean waters. Today, these waters are known as the Bering Strait. Once again, people were on the move. Some scientists disagree about what route they took into the Americas. They may have sailed south down the coastlines of North America and South America, or they may have migrated by foot south through Canada. There, some people went west, others east, and still others continued into and through Central America. The first people who came to California may have crossed the tall, rocky Sierra Nevada. This mountain range runs 400 miles south along the Central Valley and forms a large part of California's eastern border. California's western border is the Pacific Ocean, an 840-mile or 1,350-kilometer coastline. The area between was filled with forest, valleys, deserts, and other types of geographical features. Let's take a look at the picture right here. There's no caption for it, but it looks like it was taken up in the Sierra Nevadas. It's a really pretty picture. And over here, we've got routes used by early Americans. And if we zoom in here to the key, we see that this green area says land not covered by glaciers. This darkish blue color says land covered by glaciers. And the red lines with the arrow says routes of the first Americans. And that solid blue line right there is the present-day shoreline. So this shows that glaciers covered all of this area here of North America. So those would be large sheets of ice. And land was covered right in here. So people would infiltrate through areas where there were no glaciers. And some people speculate they may have gone down along the coastline by sea as well. California's first people. People lived in California thousands of years ago, but they left no written records. Scientists learn about these American Indians by studying artifacts. Artifacts are tools and other objects made by people in the past and used for a practical purpose. Archaeologists study artifacts carefully to find clues to the lives of the American Indians in California. Archaeologists believe that Indians have lived in North America for 12,000 years. California's rich natural resources made it easy for people to settle there. By the late 1700s, more than 300,000 American Indians lived in California. Their food, dress, religions, and types of houses varied. Each group used the natural resources around them to craft tools, shelter, and clothes. They made spears, bows, and arrows, and traps from stones, wood, and leather. They also created other objects like nets, baskets, and cook pots. Let's take a look at a couple of these pictures here. This picture has a caption that reads, Mojave doll made from natural resources. And this picture here has a caption that reads, baskets were made from tightly woven plant fibers and decorated with complex designs. Let's take a look at the next page. Here we have a picture with a caption that reads, rocks like the ones at this archaeological site show evidence of human use. To prepare corn or acorns for eating, California Indians ground them with stone pestles. Over time, this grinding resulted in holes in the rocks. Most American Indians lived in villages. They often built homes in a cone shape out of a pole frame and grass, brush, or bark. Sometimes they constructed buildings large enough to hold hundreds of people for gatherings such as rituals or celebrations. They fashioned clothing from animal skins or bark. California Indians in the north and central areas wore moccasins. Those who lived in the south wore sandals. Did you know? The California Indians made use of many plants for food. Did you know that the acorn was their most important food? The hard shell of an acorn must be cracked in order to remove the kernel inside. People then pounded these kernels until they became flour. Next, they poured hot water over the flour to remove a poison called tannin. Finally, they used the flour to make porridge or bread. Native customs and beliefs. While groups of California Indians differed in many ways, they also had some customs and beliefs in common. For instance, leaders or chiefs of each group were often chosen based on their family. Both men and women could be chiefs. The chiefs often made use of a council of elders for advice. The final authority rested with the elders for group tasks like warfare and food gathering. Each group had their own land of about 8 to 10 square miles. Boundaries between groups' lands were not always fixed. California Indians tended to allow others to come onto their lands to hunt and gather in times of need. Shamans and other holy people conducted religious rituals. People believed shamans had special powers that could be used to do a variety of useful things, such as control the weather, make crops grow better, or tell the future. Shamans also believed that their powers could protect people or heal the sick. Tribe members honored spirits by dressing in colorful outfits and performing special dances. Many of today's American Indians also gather to perform rituals, dances, or songs, which are cultural traditions that are still practiced. All peoples wonder how the world works. Early American Indians were no different. They looked to the dreams to reveal such knowledge. Myths and stories explained how the world began and who owned the sun and how death came about. American Indian legends say that people lived in California since the beginning of time. Primary source. Here's a picture, and the caption reads, "These flaked stone carvings were found in the northwest coast of America. The stone on the right is in the shape of a bird." Oh yeah, I can see that. There's its tail. There are its wings right there. And this to me looks like an arrowhead. The beginning of the world. A Yokuts story. Before there were people, there was only water everywhere. Coyote looked among the ducks and sent a certain species to dive. At first, it said it was unable to. Then it went down. It reached the bottom, bit the earth, and came up again. Coyote took the earth from it and sent it for seeds. When the duck brought these, he mixed them with the earth and water. Then the mixture swelled until the water had disappeared. The earth was there. Land of many peoples. The rugged mountains in California separated the American Indians from those who lived on the Great Plains and in Mexico. Mountains, hills, valleys, and deserts within California separated Californian Indian groups from one another. The state's topography made it difficult to travel long distances. Topography is the height and depth or shape of natural features in an area. Early groups of Californian Indians had little contact with one another. Because of this, they developed different customs and practices. Over time, Californian Indians formed at least 90 different cultural groups and at least 90 different languages. They were each as unique as the land around them. Anthropologists divide up California's many American Indian groups into 6 cultural areas. The geography helped to define each cultural area. Let's take a look at these 6 cultural areas on this map here. So we have the Central Valley here, northwestern, northeastern, the Great Basin, southern, and the Colorado River. Cultural areas. So this will be the definition of these areas that we looked at right here on the map. These are what those areas consisted of. So the Colorado River area, bordered by the Colorado River to the east, this area had fertile ground and water available to grow beans, maize, and pumpkins. Southern area. Even with the Pacific Ocean to the west, this dry desert area had little water. Larger tribes with more complex societies developed. Great Basin area. This long strip of desert land in the east contains many small basins. The people here ate rabbits and wild plants, the resources available to them. Central area. This was the largest cultural area. The Pacific Ocean formed the long western border. The eastern border was the Sierra Nevada. In the north, the climate was mild and warm. The south was a dry desert. The main food sources were deer, antelope, elk, rabbits, and birds. Northwestern area. The northwestern area bordered the Pacific Ocean. Huge redwood forests grew in the rainy northwestern area. The people used the wood to build canoes and homes. Northeastern area. The northeastern area sat next to the northwestern area. It was inland from the Pacific Ocean. Forest of tall trees also grew in the northeast area. And there again is the map, so you can pause the video if you need to and look at the 6 different regions and their descriptions. All right, boys and girls, go ahead and rewatch the video or take out your textbook and read it again, and we'll see you soon.